Hi there, my name is Cesar, and I'm glad that you can join us today to sample a little bit about human biology, in particular body temperature regulation. So I'll take you through a virtual classroom taster and show you how we use Zoom here at Monash College. And you'll see that there's a chat function on the bottom there, and please put any questions you have throughout the session today into that chat box, and we will be able to reply as best as we can and get your details as well. So like I said, today our aim is to go through this taster session with you. So hopefully right now you can see the screen and you can see that today I'll be trying to go through a little bit about body temperature regulation. Now, to start off, I want to just simply ask this question, and I'm sure that we're all able to answer this question. The first one, what's the weather like over where you are? Do you feel warm or cold? And I know that it's a little chilly here today in Melbourne. It is spring, but it's very slowly warming up. I've got the heater on, so I feel a little bit cold. And I'm also going to want to ask you what you think your average core body temperature is. So 2 questions that I'm going to put forward to all of you right now. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to send a little poll. So right now, here comes a poll, and I'm launching it, and you should get a little box pop up in front of you. So if you don't mind, just answering those 2 questions. So the first one, what's the weather like where you are right now? And what you think your average core body temperature is right now. So here we go. I'll share the results with you in a minute. I'm just waiting for some votes to come in. From my end, it's looking like it's pretty warm where most of you are, which is, I'm getting jealous of that. And we've got a few choices for the core body temperature, so looking good. So I'll just give you a couple more seconds to fill that in. So this type of poll we use quite often in class, and you can see how easily we can get a response from the class, and it's looking really good. Just a couple more people. Okay, I might end the polling there. Sorry if I've cut you off, but let's share some of these results and see what it looks like where you are. So, outstandingly, a majority of you are somewhere warm and you're feeling warm. That's not a surprise. You're probably in a different hemisphere as well. So some of you are cold, so that's good to hear that some are on our side in Melbourne weather. And you've picked 37 degrees Celsius. Well, most of you, 70% of you have picked 37 degrees Celsius as the average core body temperature. And I think you would be right. So core body temperature, average core body temperature for humans is approximately 37 degrees Celsius, as most of you have indicated. And that core body temperature is regulated through a process called homeostasis. Now, a lot of you have said it's warm where you are, so you're feeling probably a little bit warm. And the temperature in your body, however, is 37 degrees Celsius still. It's cold where I am, and it's cold where a few of you are. However, despite that cold temperature outside, the core body temperature is still 37 degrees Celsius. So you can see that that is controlled through this process called homeostasis. Now, thermoregulation or temperature control is the homeostatic control of core body temperature. Now, why is thermoregulation so important? Thermoregulation is important because there are several enzymes in all of the cells of our bodies, and those enzymes are really important in controlling metabolic reactions. Now, metabolic reactions keep us alive, and so it's important that the enzymes are functioning at an optimal temperature, and that temperature is 37 degrees. So we need to maintain that 37-degree core body temperature despite changes in our external environment so that metabolic activity can continue. So I wanted to show you a little bit about the homeostatic control of body temperature, and I've given you an example here of an increase in core body temperature. So what we're looking at here is a stimulus response model, okay, a stimulus response model, and in this stimulus response model, what we see is that we start with an increase in core body temperature, And that increase in core body temperature is then followed by a detection of that increase in core body temperature. Now, this might be on a summer's day where it's really, really warm and you've been outside for a long time. And this might be what happens to your core body temperature. Now, that increase is detected by thermoreceptors, which sit in blood vessels in your body, but most importantly, sit in what is called the hypothalamus, a part of your brain. So if we want to see where that hypothalamus is, the hypothalamus is sitting, like I said, in this part of the brain, this purple shaded region here. And the job of the hypothalamus is to act as a thermostat. So just like the thermostat in my house is set to about 18 degrees, the thermostat in the hypothalamus, or the hypothalamus itself, is set at 37 degrees Celsius. So the hypothalamus acts as what we call the control center of the body, and in this case, the control center for thermoregulation. Now, the hypothalamus is really important in initiating different responses within the body to control temperature. So the hypothalamus, for instance, sends messages to various what we call effectors in the body. Now, these effectors can be various organs. It could be things such as sweat glands. It could be things such as skeletal muscle. So different organs, tissues, and other parts of the body are activated by messages coming from the hypothalamus. Now, these effectors will carry out what is called a response, and that response, in this case, is going to lead to a decrease in core body temperature. Now, there are many, many responses that could occur, and there are many organs that could be involved, and I'll test you on that in a moment. But let's notice one thing here. The response is opposite to the initial stimulus, which was an increase in core body temperature. So this was an increase, and this was a decrease. So you can see that this is the stimulus and the response opposes one another. And this is called a negative feedback system. So that's just a short rundown of how your body controls body temperature. Like I said, I'd like to go through a short activity with you, if you don't mind. So I'm going to give you what is called a Padlet. Now, I'll just share the link with you in the chat box. So if you just look into the chat box, please, you'll find right about now a link to what is called a Padlet. So please click on that link in the chat and you should get to this page right here. So you will see a Padlet. Hopefully you all see that Padlet. If the Padlet's not coming up for you, then you can also contribute via the chat. But just before you get started, I can see all those very eager people. This Padlet, there are two questions. How does your body respond when you are warm? And I've got that GIF of the cat. And then how does your body respond when you are cold? So it looks like we're getting a few responses. So if you click on the plus icon, you can write in any response you like. So I'll give you about a minute now, just by yourself there with this Padlet, to write in as many responses you think the body has to either being warm or being cold. So I'll just give you a minute. Feel free to, yep, I'm getting some really good responses. Excellent. Oh, I've got one in a different language. That's something new. I guess I'm learning something today. That's good. All right, keep on going. The cold side. We probably need a few more on the cold side. Good, good. Wow, lots of great responses. Well done. This is really great. And you can see how we can see all of your responses at once. Okay, you can keep putting responses if you like. We here have, for this warm response, we've got a lot of people saying sweating. So we've got sweating coming out quite a bit there. We've got stretching out. So someone has an idea around surface area, which is really good. And yes, this leads to a decrease in body temperature. So some of these responses do that. That's correct. Shivering, that's a very common response we're seeing here. Goosey, or probably, I think what we want to say there is probably goosebumps. And that's fine. So we're getting all sorts of responses. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so it looks like we have an understanding of what the body can do regarding those different conditions. So thank you so much for those contributions. Feel free to keep adding to that if you like. So here are a list of other responses that your body might take in response to the hot or the cold, and you've mentioned a few of them yourself. So you've mentioned sweating, for instance. So sweating reduces the heat or the warmth in your body by or through the process of evaporation. Some of you have said shivering, well done. So that's when there's that rapid contraction and relaxation of your skeletal muscles. Sometimes you feel it on a cold winter's morning when you step outside. Piloerection, that's just a more scientific way of saying goosebumps, which is when you have the hair on your arms stand up or on your body stand up on end, and it looks like goosebumps. Some of you said stretching out, well done. Stretching out to increase surface area and therefore try to decrease temperature. And curling up, something you might do on a cold winter's night, curling up in your bed, trying to make yourself much, much smaller and reduce the surface area. There's two other ones here, vasodilation and vasoconstriction, and I think some of you were mentioning blood vessels. So vasodilation, you might see that when you've just come back from the gym, you're really hot and your face has gone all red. That's because your blood vessels have dilated. They're trying to lose heat and cool you down. And the opposite happens with vasoconstriction here. And with vasoconstriction, you might notice it on a cold winter's morning, especially if you're somewhere where it snows, and it looks like not many of us are living in a place where it snows a lot, but your hands might go pale, and that's because of what we call vasoconstriction. So they are all of the responses that you've put forward there. Thank you so much for that. And I hope you've learned a little bit there about thermoregulation. I'll just clear these annotations. Sorry, here they go. All right. So I'll just now like to introduce Morgan. So Morgan is a past student and she'd like to talk a little bit about her experience while studying in the virtual classroom. Over to you, Morgan.
Thank you, Cesar. Hi, everyone. My name is Morgan, and I'm from Vietnam. I recently completed foundation year in the virtual classroom, and I've just started my Bachelor of Science at Monash University. Today, I want to share with you my experience studying in the virtual classroom, including taking part in the virtual clubs and societies, and becoming a peer mentor. So I really enjoy being in the virtual classroom as I really like the technology, such as the share screen in Zoom. When the teacher share their screen, they can show us presentation slides, documents, videos, and the digital whiteboard. This really helps us understand the topic much better. All of the teachers have been great. They support us and they customize the study material and delivery methods for the virtual classroom, which means that we have an interactive and engaging experience, just like in face-to-face classes. I also become a peer mentor for my science class, and I ran weekly Zoom session for other students that needed a little bit of extra help. This was a very fulfilling role as I got to connect with other students and help them with their study as well. It also led to developing many friendships. In the days leading up to the peer mentor session, I would stay in touch with other students through emails and sometimes WhatsApp. Since moving on to an online learning environment, I find that timing has been more flexible because we were able to discuss and set out a time that is suitable for our schedule. I also participated in some of the virtual clubs and societies. My favorite was the gaming club, which involved new game each week. I like that through many clubs activities, I have made a lot of friends who has the same interest as me. Plus, I think it's a great way to de-stress after a long day of school. So, yeah, one of my favorite assessments were the practicals from my biology class where we got to prove a theory. Here's the picture from the assessment. It's about cutting DNA and it's really interesting because I get to learn about the process of genetic engineering. Furthermore, these activities also give us a chance to see science in action and the application of science in real life. There are many tools in the virtual classroom that I really like. In biology class, the teacher uses the digital whiteboard to explain complicated concepts, such as how your body reacts to different changes in the environment. We also use the breakout rooms, to do group work, which allow us to collaborate and discuss ideas, just like face-to-face classes. So some of the tools that I use to complete the assessment include Google Docs to write the written components, Google Slides for the presentation, and discussion with my other group mates. I enjoy working on this assessment as I was able to gain skills in time management, communication, and most importantly, teamwork. With this skill, I feel more confident when going to university. The virtual classroom was an interactive and very enjoyable experience for me. I had all the tools that I needed readily available and felt well connected to my classmate and my teachers. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy studying in the virtual classroom with Monash College just as much as I did.
All right. Thank you so much, Morgan, for sharing your experience with us. Morgan's been my student, and it's good to know that you've had such a wonderful experience in the virtual space, and that you've actually enjoyed some of those assessments, which, they've reminded me of some of the really good science that we can do in those types of subjects like biology. Thank you for sharing, Morgan. So our commitment is to support you to achieve your best, regardless of if you are studying in a virtual classroom or face-to-face. Now, while you are studying online from your home country, you'll still have access to all the support services available at Monash College to help you along the way. Now, we have dedicated student engagement and student services team who organise a range of clubs and societies, some of which Morgan mentioned, for you to join, to learn new skills and meet students from all around the world. We also have learning and career advisors who you'll be able to contact to make sure that you're on the right path to Monash University and your Monash University degree. And to be successful as a student, you need to feel supported in all areas of your life. That's why your health and well-being is a priority for us at Monash College. If you have any problems or concerns, our counsellors offer free confidential counselling to help you with your personal, academic and emotional challenges. And of course, the teachers are quite wonderful, and we're always here and happy to support you, answer your questions via email or within our virtual class. And we're open all the time to any suggestions and also any queries that you have regarding your academic progress. And also, if you need any help at any time, we're always here for you. So thank you for coming along today, and if you need more information, I'll start that again. Thank you for joining us. If you want a better understanding of some of these aspects of the virtual classroom, we can have your questions answered by this QR code that you can scan here on the screen. So if you scan this QR code here, you can then visit our virtual classroom page. And in that virtual classroom web page, you'll find the most recent updates about the virtual classroom, as well as some frequently asked questions, which might help you answer some of your questions. We also have student testimonials, so you can hear from current students about their experience studying online, which is always good to hear. If you have any particular questions that you'd like to send through, you can send them through to marketing@monashcollege.edu.au and you'll get an answer as soon as possible. Also, make sure that you follow us on our social channels. So we have a Facebook channel and an Instagram page, I believe. Thank you again for joining us. Hopefully you were able to get a taste of the virtual classroom. And we really, really hope to see you very soon in the virtual classroom at Monash College, as well as in Melbourne when we can meet face-to-face again. Thank you so much for joining us.